What's up, guys? Erudite Trucker here. I'm back with another video. And today it's a special day because this past week was the Thanksgiving holiday, and I am out on the road now. I'm about to be on the road for a very long time. Actually, I'm in the beginning stages of the TMC Christmas run right now. And this is my first year doing this, but for anybody who's not familiar, the Christmas run is when you are out for 4 weeks before Christmas. So last week of November all the way up to the ending of the 3rd week of December. So that'll be 4 weeks, and I am not going home the whole time. That's part of the program. So the idea is you're going to be making a whole bunch of money, and when you go home, you get to have the last week of December just at home. Basically like a vacation. But the caveat to that is you do not get paid for that week that you're sitting at home. No vacation pay, because they basically say that, you know, the 4 weeks that you're out on the road, you should be making so much money that you can stand to not get paid for a week or whatever, which, you know, that part's whatever to me. The home time is more important, because money should be good. But we'll find out at the end of this story, which I'll probably update you guys on in, you know, another video farther down the line, not this one. But I want to show you guys a couple of things. For one, how I prepared to be out here, and how today has gone so far. And as you guys can see, I'm already at a truck stop. It's nighttime, or it looks like nighttime. It's about 6:45 in the evening, and I have a load that's going all the way up to Massachusetts, and I live in North Carolina, so it's very, very far away from where I stay. We still got a ways to go. When I picked this load up, I was like 13 and a half hours away from the delivery location. I left very, very early this morning. Very early. I left like 7 a.m. But there were some traffic delays because of, you know, I guess people heading back home after the Thanksgiving holiday, so I was not able to go as far as I wanted to. A lot of slowdowns on the way up here, which stinks, but it is what it is. And there's not a whole lot of parking in this vicinity where I stayed at, so for the sake of saving myself and not getting a clock violation, I stopped when I still had like an hour and a half on my clock, because up farther ahead there's not really anywhere for me to park that had enough parking spaces for me to be comfortable pushing it. You know, getting my clock down to, I don't know, 45 minutes or something like that. You know, I try not to go much lower than 45 minutes remaining on my clock. That way I can save myself, you know, and drive a little bit farther if my planned parking area is already filled up. You know, I save some time to keep on going. You don't want to drive just to get just far enough and then you run out of time if your plan A or plan B doesn't work out as far as parking goes. But we're all good. We'll be getting on the road like 3 a.m. Actually, no, like maybe around 4, something like that. So we're gonna get some sleep soon. But to the part I was telling you guys about, I want to show you how I prepared for this. And my intentions when I'm out here on the road for the next 4 weeks is to not spend any money on food. Like none. It's possible. I've been out on the road for 3 weeks in the past, you know, a bunch of times. And I've been out on the road for a month one time in my tenure here with TMC. But this time I got an organized plan, you know, to help me stretch out. And I'll show you what I got here, actually. All this food that I'm about to show you guys was provided and prepared for me by Mrs. Erudite. So I'll give her credit on that. She's awesome. Couldn't do it without you, my nutritionist. But let me show you what I got. Look at all this, guys. Man, that's just some of it. But yeah, you can see the potatoes, eggs, you know, almond milk, fermented veggies, things like that, all hand prepared. Burritos and chorizo pasta, that's delicious. But yeah, but my plan out here is having all this pre-made food. It's, for one, it's healthier than, you know, eating truck stop food. 100% way healthier. Home cooked meals, you know, that are made with healthier ingredients. Way better than the greasy junk that you can eat at the truck stop. I mean, at the truck stop you might be able to get like fruit there, you know, some canned goods, but the price, the markup is really high compared to what you can get for things at home. But yeah, we got this, guys, and that stuff's gonna help me. You know, I'm for sure I'll be able to get like 3 weeks in at least. You know, I'm sure probably the whole month if I ration it outright. But we got all the pre-made food. I got dry goods, oatmeal, rice, that's a lot, eggnog, that stuff is super delicious. Too bad they only sell it at the end of the year. And you know, other canned goods that I keep over there, plus some other things that I'll show you guys that I got. Usually I don't keep this much food in here, but like I said, my intentions are to be out for a whole month and not spend any money. So we got oranges there, mandarin oranges, apples, peanut butter, jam, bananas. It's important that you have the right nutritious food on your truck if you're going to be out for a long period of time, because you know, you don't want to get scurvy, you know, get that vitamin C. I know it's like an old school kind of joke thing among like sailors or people who was out on the sea for a long time without that stuff, but you can still get that if you're not nourishing yourself correctly. So it's important, you know, in addition to exercising when you're out here on the road, to feed yourself the good fuel, because you want to make sure that you maintain a healthy form, not just to pass your DOT physicals every couple of years, but just because you want to be healthy in general, especially when you have a lifestyle when you're out on the road and you may not have access to a brick and mortar gym, or you may not have access to going to a grocery store all the time. You want to make sure you keep healthy options around you, not a whole bunch of chips, you know, a whole bunch of cookies and, you know, other things that are unhealthy that aren't going to be good for you long term when you're sitting down in the truck. I mean, I'm a flatbed driver, so I'm active just by default. But if you're a truck driver and you are not as physically active as a flatbedder, like if you have drop and hook, or you know, you're primarily no touch freight, you know, you need to be making sure that you're doing what you can to monitor and maintain a healthy lifestyle out here. Aside from all that, well, once I put all this stuff away, it's all gonna fit in this cooler, this Alpi-Cool cooler. Very deep, 60 liters. And I had all that stuff conveniently fitting in that cooler before I brought it out to show you guys, but we'll get that put away soon enough. Where we are right now, like I said, I wasn't able to get as far as I wanted to driving today. And to get to the delivery location in Massachusetts, we have like 5.5 hours to go tomorrow morning, which will get us there around 9:30-ish, which is okay. But the positive thing with that, since we were not able to drive super far today, well, we drove about halfway there. With that, my work day tomorrow should be relatively short. Well, no, it won't. I'll still be getting close to 11 hours. I take that back. But what I meant to say is my work day should end very early tomorrow. Since my clock will be starting so early, like 4 a.m., you know, I'll have spent like half of my 11 hours just driving to the Constantine to get rid of this freight. Then after that, I'll have like 5.5 or around 4 hours or so left to go do whatever, pick something up, which will probably be a short route. Maybe even, actually, you know what? It could be a thing where I pick a load up tomorrow and it ends up being a 2-day delivery, because like I said, I'm out here for the whole month, basically, next 4 weeks. So my fleet manager does not have to be concerned with routing me, you know, anywhere near my home location, you know, for the next 3.5 weeks, really. So they could very well give me something that picks up close by, but doesn't deliver for the next couple of days, you know, a farther drive. But they got a lot of options. You know, when you don't have to go home, you know, what they can do with you is almost unlimited, depending on how much time is left on your clock and when you need to be home. So I'll deal with that tomorrow. But I need to get some rest, guys. I need to eat, get some rest, because like I said, we got to wake up before the sun and get rid of this freight. So I'll catch you guys in the morning at the unload. What's up, guys? As you may know, I have merch now. If you're interested in supporting the channel and want to rock some Erudite merch, click the store link below. I appreciate your support. Back to the video. All right, guys, we made it here to the Constantine, and we actually already got unloaded. You can see That's some of the stuff that we brought. It's a whole bunch of it. Actually, they took it over there, over that way, behind their fence. It did not take very long. Once I got my tarps off, I mean, it was very, very quick getting unloaded. It took like 10 minutes. Unfortunately, we did not get here until around 10:45 because even though we left this morning really early, like 4 a.m., once we got closer to New York City, or well, no, not New York City, New York State. Once we got around here, I can't remember what city we were driving through exactly, but we were on 287 and ran into some rush hour traffic and basically lost an hour of time fighting our way through that. But we got it delivered. That's the main thing. And I only have about 4.5 hours left on my clock. It's not much time to deal with. And the particular spot where I'm at, there is a Home Depot distribution center. I want to say about an hour away, roughly, from where I currently am sitting. But just because that's there does not mean that's where I would be getting sent, because we don't know if there's any loads there. I don't know what the load planner has in store for me or what they are planning for me to do this week, because like I told you guys, I'm on the Christmas run now, so I'm not going home for the next few weeks. So I don't know specifically how they try to route drivers, or what they're waiting for, but I've been sitting here for about an hour, I believe, waiting for dispatch. Now the place where I'm at, they do not have on-site parking. They don't want you staying here overnight, that's for sure. And the closest truck stop to where I am is an hour back down south, so I'd have to go back into, I think, drive past Connecticut. Actually, no, it's at the right past the state line, or just before I would be crossing the state line of Massachusetts into Connecticut. So I don't know what they're gonna have me do, because it's what is about 12:30 right now. So normally this time of day there's not a whole lot of loads out there on the board, but I'm not sure. So mixing in there not being a whole lot of loads usually this time of the day, on top of me not having a lot of hours to deal with, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do today. I'm just sitting around waiting. Haven't reached out to my fleet manager yet to see what they're thinking or what he's thinking. I don't feel tired. I don't feel sleepy, but I am looking forward to my day ending earlier. Hopefully, since I started driving at 4 a.m. right now. I don't feel tired, like I said, but I want to get back on a normal work pattern for tomorrow. I don't wake up at 4 a.m. to start driving normally, but the whole reason for that was I didn't leave until Sunday, which, with it being a 13-hour drive, for me to have gotten parked up at this place, well, I couldn't do that, first of all, because it's more than 30 miles from here, to get to the first available rest area or truck stop. So it wouldn't even been physically possible to do it. But with it being a holiday weekend, it was Thanksgiving before I headed out here. On top of me being on this Christmas run, not going home for the next 4 weeks, I was not prioritizing driving to get parked up. I wanted to spend time at home and enjoy, my personal life. So I 100% was not going to leave on Saturday to kill some of those drive hours in order to get super close to this place and park up last night. Not important to me. Normally, I would be doing that, on a regular week schedule, but no, not now. Plus, we ran into some holiday traffic with it being Sunday, and I'm assuming a lot of people traveling back from wherever they were hanging out for Thanksgiving going back home. It was very, very busy for a Sunday. Very abnormal, but I'm pretty sure that was the reason. We'll see. We'll see what I get coming up here, how long I'm waiting, or if I just have to go park it for the day and reset completely tomorrow. Okay, that wasn't too bad. We got something now, and we're actually going to that Home Depot distribution center that I referenced earlier. It's the only thing that I know of that's around here, so it makes sense. and we will be going to New York with that one, upstate New York still. It's going to end up being I think a 7.5 hour trip total, bounce miles and loaded miles included. Now the issue that I'm going to have to potentially deal with is where I'm going to park tonight. I don't know if I'll have enough hours to leave the distribution center and get to a rest area or truck stop, because I already looked ahead. The route that I'm going to be taking, I checked Trucker's Path, and there is next to nothing in the direction that I need to go once I leave the next shipper. But also on top of that, like I was telling you guys, I only have about 4.5 hours right now, and it's an hour and 15 minutes in flowing traffic to get to the shipper. So I'll have 3 hours and some change. But by the time I get this trailer swap done, assuming that everything is placed cleanly and I don't have to adjust anything, don't have to add any extra straps, which I probably will, by the time I get out onto the road again, it might be close to rush hour time, because what is it? It's like 1:30 right now. Maybe not, but still, if I run into rush hour traffic, that could mess up my plan of getting to a parking space before I run out of time, even though it's still early in the day. But I'll address that once I'm actually secured and have the trailer swap complete. That's the only way I'll really be able to know how much time I have left, and I can see what the roads are looking like at that point. But let's go ahead and head to Connecticut. Thankfully, not very far from here. All right, guys, we made it here, and I got my trailer preloaded right here. Now the thing about it though, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be pre-tarped as well. You know, it could be the case that I might have gotten here before they got to it, because the guys that are responsible for tarping these trailers are on the other side over there working on something else. So I might just be here a little bit early for them, or they just haven't gotten to it. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish throwing straps on this. They already threw some of the straps, like the bellies, on it, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw the straps everywhere else there need to be in the X straps, and I'm gonna ask and see when they're gonna get around to tarping this. Hopefully it's not gonna take too much longer than it would take for me to go ahead and finish securing it, because this BOL is saying tarp en route in the event of inclement weather. Now I'll tell you right now, guys, there's no way, like if it starts raining, you know, especially if it rains like during the middle of the night, there's no way I'm going to be able to get a tarp from my headache rack and somehow throw it up on top of this trailer by myself. You have to have a machine to do that. It's too high up. Won't be able to climb up on top of this load and roll out a trailer after I leave out of here. So that's going to have to be addressed, but we'll see. I'd prefer, if it's going to be like that, for them to just tarp it here, because like I said, there's no way I can climb up on top of this. There's nowhere for me to get a foothold, and I'm not going to try to lift that heavy tarp up above my head to throw it up on there. I don't think that's a good idea. Not if you want to value your spinal health long term. But let's go ahead and throw these straps, and we'll see what we got going on after that. Okay guys, I got everything secured on here, but let me show you a couple things that I hate about this. First off, picking up these preloads from this particular shipper, and there's another one that's just like it. It sucks because well, usually when you have your tarp on it, it's preloaded, you don't know what you're going to get under the tarp. And I'll show you here. Now, I showed you I didn't have a tarp on this one, and that was actually to my benefit this time. But these Home Depot loads that we get, it's like a whole medley of different things, you know, ladders there, insulation, lumber. I mean, there's shingles in the back. So imagine having a tarp on this, which is how it is the majority of the time before you get here to pick it up, and you still need to throw some straps. Like, they'll have like belly straps on these usually, and then you got to throw the rest, at least at this particular location. Now when the tarp's on it, you don't know what you've got. Like, all this stuff, I can see it now, so I was able to put the straps where they need to be. But if there was already a tarp on this, it's just draped with a couple of bungees on it to make sure it doesn't blow away. I had to keep on like peeking underneath the tarp and seeing where stuff is, seeing where belly straps are, and you know, seeing where I need to put my straps, it's very, very annoying to have to deal with. Like I said, today it worked out for me to not have the tarp on it yet. It does need to have a tarp. I was able to get that sorted out, and I just had them wait until after I already put my straps up. That way I don't have to fight with it. But something else that is one of the most irritating things that you have to deal with, that you may deal with when you are picking up a preloaded trailer, is when you come out and whoever is the yard dog, and that would be the on-site tractor that moves the loaded and empty trailers around for the shipper. But when you come out there and they drop your trailer too high, meaning the landing gear legs are up too high, because you can see my fifth wheel right here. Hold on, let me get a light for you guys so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about, because I absolutely hate it when I have to deal with this. It's a waste of my time, and it's a pain to have to fix. But here, you see how high up the trailer is? My fifth wheel is elevated as high as it can go, and it's not making contact with the trailer right there. So when that happens, I'm gonna have to come over here and crank this landing gear leg to lower this trailer down with however many thousands of pounds is sitting on top of this trailer right now. I have to fight with it. Either that or find the yard dog, the tractor driver, to come pick this trailer up so that the lowering or the landing gear legs can be lowered without the pressure of all the weight pushing down on the trailer. Now you can see this. Look, the landing gear legs are bending forward. Look at that, they're bending forward. That's how much stress is on them right now. I gotta fight against that, because I think the yard dog tractor driver is off for the day. So the only person who can drive a truck around here is me, and I don't have the Ottawa tractor that they have, which is basically on one of those tractors, the fifth wheel goes up and down to make it easier to just pick the trailer up and drive away with it without having to get out of the truck and lower or raise the landing gear all the time when they're just trying to place trailers around the yard. So I have to do it by hand. Wish me luck, guys. I'm about to go over here and fight it with that and try to get it down low enough to where it makes contact with my fifth wheel and I can hook up to it. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys know any tips or tricks to help this kind of annoying thing be dealt with a little bit faster when you're by yourself. I'd appreciate it. All right, we got everything sorted out. I was able to find the yard dog driver out here, and they were able to lift the trailer up, and I was able to lower the landing gear without any difficulties. Didn't have to fight with it at all, which is great, because doing that is not fun at all. Now, in terms of what I'm gonna do for parking tonight, I was trying to strategize in my head because, well, for one, I have to deliver this load to Buffalo, New York, which is going to be northwest of where I currently am. But the issue with that is there are not any adequate truck stops or rest areas for like 3 hours of worth of driving. Like in this portion of Connecticut, I would have to drive through Connecticut and northward up into Massachusetts and then go west to get into New York from where I currently am. Now, there are very small like rest areas sprinkled throughout, like very, very small. Like I'm talking about like 6 or 8 parking spaces only going in that direction until, like, you know, like I said, that 3 hour mark roughly from where I am, like 150, 175 miles from here. There's like a couple of truck stops that have like 20 to 30 spaces. Now, my potential issue and what I'm thinking in my head is, you know, it's 7 o'clock right now. And for me to go that way, you know, this is roughly going to be around the time where a lot of drivers are going to be wanting to park for the night. You know, between 6 and 9 p.m. roughly, I'd say, is when the majority of truck drivers are trying to get a spot for the night. With the scarcity of parking spaces and my clock counting down, I'm thinking, I don't know if it's going to be a good idea to try to risk driving out that way, because, you know, my clock's going to be counting down regardless of whether I find a space or not. So if I drive to like a couple of these truck stops that I had in mind, if they're already full, there's nowhere for me to go. You know, and I can't, you know, of course, not going to park on the side of the highway. That's not a good idea. You can't just manufacture a parking space. I know there's creative parking, but, you know, these parking spaces, 'cause I looked at everything on Trucker's Path to see what the parking availability is, you know, what the lots look like, and I also look on Google Maps, well, not Google Maps, but Google Earth, so I can get a better visual of what the truck stops look like and how the spaces are, and, you know, how many spaces are roughly, what I can expect when I get into the lots. And it's very, very scarce, so I'm thinking about just staying here at the shipper overnight. Well, also, this load that I have is not able to be delivered until anytime between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. tomorrow. So that limits me quite a bit. I mean, I could leave and try to get, like, you know, a couple hours down the road, shave a little bit of that time off so I have that much more time on my clock tomorrow, you know, but you know, I'll still be stuck waiting until later on, because well, if I decide to go in there a little bit earlier, I mean, I could show up as early as I want to, but I'm not on their list to be unloaded until, you know, 1 p.m. at the earliest. So I could go there and I could check in and be like, hey, I'm here to deliver, you know, can you guys unload me? And I'm basically at their mercy. You know, I can't have them unload me sooner than 1 p.m. You know, if they decide to do it, that's perfectly fine, that's great, but it's just me taking a chance, you know, showing up early and just sitting around and waiting. And if I do that, I don't want to sit around and wait too long, or if I sit down and wait past a certain point, I would want my split log to go, you know, basically sitting there for 2 hours to get that time back that I would be sitting and waiting if I'm there for an extended period of time. It's a whole lot of variables that I'm thinking about in my head, you know, and I think it will probably be the best shot, considering all that stuff that I just told you guys, for me to just stay here overnight. Because also on top of that, I woke up, you know, like at 3:30 this morning, left, got on the road at 4, and I'm getting a little tired, a little sleepy, I should say. And I think it's probably just best to just cut it and get a completely fresh restart tomorrow, you know, and probably end up leaving maybe around 5:30 or 6, and that will get me to the consignee around 11:30 or 12. That's close enough to that 1 p.m. marker where they might unload me a little bit earlier, like right then when I get there, or at least I can take my tarps off and my straps off and be ready for them, you know, so I can hopefully get out of there. The drawback of that, of me not leaving tonight, though, is like it's a 6-hour drive from where I am to where I'm delivering at. But you know, it is what it is on that. I'm not really sweating it too much, because I'm gonna be out here for a while. I got plenty of time to make up for things if that causes some kind of drawback for the rest of the week. It shouldn't, though. I mean, tomorrow is gonna be Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. So we still got plenty of time. Tuesday plus all the rest of the weeks that we're gonna be out here until the end of the month. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some food and some shut-eye. I'll see you guys in the morning. Okay, it's the next day, and we're at the consignee now, Home Depot. But let me show you guys something else that I really, really dislike about getting preloads. There's a potential chance of it happening whenever you do. And I'm not noticing it until now because they loaded me in the dark. But as you can see up there, this is a ratty tarp. There's like a tear in it, a really big one. I mean, fortunately the load is still covered up, but that's something I'm gonna have to deal with until I swap these tarps out on another load. And it's snowing out here. New development, or it was snowing earlier on my way over here. It's like 32 degrees outside right now. But we're gonna go ahead and get this untarped so we can get ourselves unloaded. It's about 12:30 or so. The time I predicted getting here, what I was trying to set myself for, so should be all good. Let's go ahead and get this done. All right, got the tarps folded up. Just gotta roll them. Now, something to be watching out for, it's a hazard. When you're dealing with these tarps in cold weather, if there's any snow on them or any water that is begun to freeze up a little bit, be extra careful when you're walking on top of your tarps. You probably saw me walking on top of them while I was folding them up, and to flatten them out a little bit to make sure that they're easier to roll up. But if there's any amount of snow on here, it's very easy to slip when you're walking around, especially when it's completely flattened out before you start folding it. It's very easy to slip on the snow, and you could lose your balance and, you know, pull your groin or something, you know, because if you're not sure-footed, even if you are, I mean, the boots that I have on right now, they have the non-slip. All right, camera cut out on me, but what I was saying is the boots that I'm wearing right now, they have the non-slip bottoms, and they're real dirty right now, but the soles are good. This is a new pair of boots, basically. Got them a couple months ago, and even with that, you know, it's still possible. I was slipping a little bit, so you want to make sure that you're walking very carefully and take your time when you're doing this stuff, because all it takes is one injury, even if it's something minor, to put you out of commission for weeks. You know, since you have to have a physical job where you have to move around, you don't realize how many of your muscles you're using until you're unable to use them. You don't realize how critical every one of your body parts, every one of your muscles and joints is, until you actually need them to do some type of physical activity. Okay, getting unloaded right now. As you can see, if you look in that mirror right there, the guy's working on it. Still got a good amount of stuff on there. They're about halfway done.
Say a command.
Not time for that. They're about halfway finished, and it's about 3 o'clock right now, so we'll see excuse me, what we got for the next pickup. And the unloader just bopped the trailer with the forks, but I don't think he damaged anything. But I don't know what we'll have for a pickup coming up next, because it's late in the day and I only have 4 hours and 20 minutes left on my clock, so I'm in a very similar position to what I was yesterday when I delivered. I just want to get on an even keel with all my hours in the morning starting off again. Kind of got thrown off a little bit by the load I had in the beginning of the week, which is all right. It paid good, and the one that I just delivered paid all right as well. So we're off to a good foot. Still just Tuesday, so. Something else that I wanted to touch on while I'm here is you can see in the mirror right there, I got my lumber tarp right there still sitting outside. I'm gonna have to try to squeeze that into my headache rack, because one of the issues when it's cold outside is your tarps don't want to roll up tightly. You know, they'll be really fat. You know, the colder it is, that material that the tarps are made out of does not compress very well. Even if you walk over top of it to try to flatten it out, it stays puffy. You know, you have to try very hard to roll that up as tightly as you can, and even then, you know, a lot of times it won't fit in your headache rack. So I'm gonna have to deal with that. I haven't put in my empty yet because I don't want to get dispatched on something that's gonna require me to get to the next shipper quickly. I want to make sure that I'm like just about unloaded, so if I get a load like within 5 minutes, I'm like ready to leave, because I don't want to get dispatched on something that's far away and I can't make it, you know, there before they end their shipping hours for the day, which would be close to it for a lot of places. Like I said, it's almost 3:30 right now, so we'll see what we have. But yeah guys, today, or this load I had was a bit annoying yesterday with it not being tarps, but we dealt with that. And then I got a ratty tarp on top of that. And see, with it not having been tarped when I came there, the tarps that I did have, I left them on my empty trailer when I dropped my empty in the yard. Now, had I known what I know now, you know, I would have just kept the tarps that I already had and then had them re-tarp the trailer that I picked up, the loaded trailer. And because those tarps that I had previously were fine. I should have showed you guys a close-up when I pulled those tarps down, you know, how ratty they were looking. They were they were like frayed, and at the end they were like kind of like in tatters, you know, in certain spots. And you know, in my opinion, they should not be putting tarps like that on loads, because if it were a torrential downpour, or not even that bad, like if it were raining, there were spots in that tarp where it would get wet. Like they weren't patched or anything, man. I mean, they're not quality that I would want to put out on freight that I'm trying to protect. They should retire them. I'll be glad to get rid of them when I go swing by a terminal or something, you know, hopefully. But guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. It's been going on for a while. As always, I appreciate you all watching. If you're interested in coming to TMC, reach out to me. I'll leave my information at the end of the video like I always do.
Say a command.
Be quiet. I'll leave a phone number, email, where you guys can reach me. Contact me before you put in your application. I'll be able to give you a referral if you'd like, and I can answer any questions you might have. But until the next time, guys, you're that trucker out. Good luck on those preloads.